Hey everyone, welcome to Collector Chatter. In today's episode, we're going to talk about Funko because they're in the news again. We're going to talk about some stuff that's coming out, some interesting drama, and some other things that have to do with collectibles as well.
Collecting is the way. Now let's chat.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Collector Chatter. This is episode 139. I am Migs here with Charlie. What's up, Charlie? What's going on?
Ready to talk a heavy Funko episode, it seems like, which we haven't really had like a heavy Funko episode in a long time.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting. Whether it's good or bad, it's still going to be interesting.
Yeah. We're going to kind of hit both sides of the field, I guess, when it comes to Funko specifically. Like you said, they have been in the news again, some drama, some stuff going on, as well as just a lot of releases and things going as well that we do want to talk about, some things that interest us, specifically on the Funko side of things. And then, we'll talk about some other collectibles and other companies that we usually talk about anyways later on. But we will start off with Funko. One of the big things I want to start with, obviously, is something that you're going to get a little bit more into because it was something that, one, you know a little bit more about, and two, it also personally affected you in the whole collecting world. But it is Funko's, of course, limited reward system pops that you can get, which, we've already had our take on how we feel about these. And not usually the best thing that we like. Nothing has been something that we've been excited for. But I believe you actually made a video about this first, being excited.
Yes.
Because this was something that excited you. But then when it came out, like many other people, not just you, it was not as exciting. So, take away from
I'll dive right into that. So, as Mick said, we've been really critical of this new model, not huge fans. I didn't think I'd ever really partake in it unless there was a Funko Pop that I had to have. And there aren't many of those anymore, if I'm being completely honest. But of course, they proved me wrong and made a character that I've been asking for a Funko Pop for years. So I'm like, okay, this is pretty sick. This really does feel special. It was a 750 piece, which they consider the Grail version of it. Kind of pricey, $49.99, which once again, we don't really agree with Funko being their own secondary market, but hey, it is what it is. Like, and I'm going to start off with the positives before getting into the negatives. People were excited about this Funko Pop. I haven't really seen people this excited about a Funko product in a really long time. People were talking about it. A lot of people wanted it, hence why there was a lot of traffic on the website. But from there, I'm going to just go where I think this is ridiculous. I tried to get this Funko Pop, which once again, it was a fan rewards, as if people also aren't familiar, because we don't talk about this that much because we haven't been interested. You need to have the amount of fan rewards points to get early access. And for most of these, I think almost all of them, besides like maybe one or two, have sold out within this period and no one ever else got a chance to use them. So this, you needed 2,000 fan rewards points, which the ways you get them is mostly by buying stuff from Funko, but they also have like fun little things you can participate with on the website to gain a few points. So first you're telling people this is the only way they can get it. I would like to think there's a little bit of a better system, but you went on, you had to say, like, click on it as if you were buying it. It would deduct your points. And then supposedly, even though diss trackers, a lot of people were asking him and he was just like, that's what they say, but if I were you, I would check out immediately. Like, you get like a few days to purchase it. But I went on immediately, I was on my computer, like, trying to get it. It just kept saying error, like, contact customer service, like, technical difficulties, yada, yada. I'm like, this is a joke. And I did it for like 10 minutes. And then finally it was like sold out. And I just think it's such piss poor run. Funko, I know some people have said, oh, it's just because everyone was trying to get it. Yeah, there was a lot of excitement, but at this point, I don't really feel like Funko site should be crashing for stuff like that. Drop, I feel like, has fixed that problem. I feel like a lot of these probably went to bots. I know you have to have the fan rewards, but a ton of those people probably have bots. Like, I went from being so excited to get a Funko Pop again after that, I'm like, dude, this is a sign from God. Like, I'm done with this. Like, not to be negative, but it just put such a sour taste in my mouth. And now that's a pop that I probably will never buy because it's not the what it's going for right now is just like not worth it to me. Especially to see so, and I know this is the game, but I feel like most people who got this Funko Pop are just flipping it.
Yeah.
And this was such a like Funko Pop made for the fans that like it would have been a little nicer if most people had like a running chance. So
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, to go off what you said about the whole flipping thing, like instantly, as soon as like it sold out, it was already being put up on eBay and the listings were 280 and above, $300, etc. And it was like just tons of them. So clearly it's like
yeah,
that many people just decided to be like, "Oh, I'm going to sell this for almost $300 like that quickly." So obviously, like you were saying, whether you want to say it's bots or not, there was obviously some type of group of people that were really like looking to get this to flip it, like essentially,
yeah,
right? But obviously, we knew a lot of other people and collectors who, I mean, Dish Trackers himself
didn't get it.
put a post saying, like, I think he had to eventually getting it off of
Yeah,
someone, but
asking people
didn't
for it.
get it through there. And that was like an interesting thing because you see him get everything
He gets
essentially,
yep.
right? And other people were also complaining, and there was people saying that they think Funko didn't put up all 750, that there was supposedly not all on there, and then like the fact that it was just crashing and didn't give people like a chance was kind of wild. And like to be the company that they are, and as long as they have been in the infrastructure of their online site and stuff, like they're not brand new. Like you would think like there has to be a way that they could figure out a way where it's like if it ends up being like, "Oh, sold out of my cart," we don't really complain about that. We're like, "Holy
No,
crap, I just sold fast." But when the site's like crashing and you don't have a chance to put something in your cart, that's when it's just kind of like really, is it really that many people on there? Like maybe there
exactly.
really was, but I don't know. It just seems a little fishy, and it is interesting because we cracked on this whole like thing that they're doing with the names and the special like limited pieces that they're
Yeah,
pricing higher than they should. And every time they've had one of these, they have sold out. A lot of times they've been trash looking pops, but
I
people for
agree.
some reason have been buying them. And this one, of course, was 750 piece, which that's not the lowest that they're gonna make, right?
No,
Because I
it's
think it's gonna be
within
like a pretty
I
pretty
think
low one, but
yeah, I think what's considered a grail, and I could be wrong, is like from 0 to 750.
okay, so it's in that
But then
in
there's even
that
a higher
lower
tier.
tier though.
Yes.
Okay. So obviously that it makes it more exciting. Like you said, I know this specifically, I believe is from the game, right? And it's like a
Yep.
character that a lot of people like and kind of wanted. So like that part of Funko is great because it's like, oh, you're doing something that people want and it's something exciting. The pop looks great, the details on her are amazing, whatever. Then they're gonna put it into this like specialty type of way. But we have our issues on like how the system is run with the points and whatever it may be, and the fact that the price points are usually higher for a pop like this, which we already said that's just Funko kind of gouging. They shouldn't be doing that. But regardless, it's being sold and then it's being flipped because that's just kind of how the way the market is. People are excited, people are getting FOMO, and a lot of those things that were posted, like this tracker posted, those were sales. They weren't just posts. Like
I
people were
know, which is
buying them for
crazy.
those prices. So that was pretty nuts. This is so off topic, but I've always found it wild that people, especially with this amount of money, will spend these prices for an item that these people don't even have yet.
Have yet.
I think and this has nothing to do with Funko. This is just
Everything.
eBay
Yeah.
and sellers in general. Like when something just gets pre-ordered or something gets launched and then they say they have it and you go and you spend all this money to buy it and you know that thing's not even out yet, like you got a lot
Like
of
what?
trust there for these people because it's a little crazy. But yeah, either way, it is a crazy thing. It's putting Funko back into the news, it's getting people talking about them, whatever it is. It's going to be interesting to see kind of what goes forward with more of these, special limited edition drops and stuff that they do, especially with the rewards points and programs. I feel like not a lot of people are like really loving it. Obviously, they're selling, but
Yeah.
there was a lot of people specifically for this pop. I know a lot that were really upset because they weren't able to get it, and it was just kind of essentially near impossible, like you said. And it just kind of makes you think if any other pops that come out with this like 750 or lower number, it's like, do you even bother trying to get it? Like, realistically, they should make this more of like a raffle style, like the EQL type of thing,
100%.
because that's usually a little safer because you get everybody in there, put in your bids, and then they just go and pick somebody. Like that just to me seems safer, and I'm surprised they're not doing that because they already do that with some other products that they sell, even if they're not the greatest products, they do that. So yeah,
I'm
interesting
happy you said
enough,
it.
and I don't know what you think. Yeah,
That's 100% how they should be handling this. I know you need to use the rewards points, but there's got to
yeah.
be an integration that they could do where you can just enter the
Yeah, it could still
EQL.
exactly. It could still come from your rewards points if they really want to stick to that whole rewards points thing. Where if you're in there, the problem is then EQL is kind of like a third party, and you
Yeah,
have to have a card, and then that card gets charged. Like we've kind of seen where some people can't even use certain cards through EQL. That's happened, so that's probably why they don't do that. But there should be some type of system, I feel like, that they can do a little better than just, oh, it's gonna drop at this time. And then like the thing is too is like they give you a window being like it's gonna close at this time. It's like, bro, like 10 minutes later, that's already like gone and it's a
it's
mess.
gone.
Like what's the point of that window? That's
And
what's kind of
it's
weird.
another last thing, let us know in the comments if you agree. I feel though like Funko had such a good moment with this, but the way it got executed got more people talking crap than they were excited about it. And if it didn't go down this way, and I think it's totally justified. I don't think it's people being like, babies about it or jealous of other people who got it. Like, I'm none of those things. I'm just like, the site shouldn't be telling me to contact customer service error. I just thought that
Hmm.
was just comical in itself. But like I said, let us know in the comments what you think.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. We'll see what's going on. We didn't talk about this beforehand, like bringing this up, but I just see it now and I didn't want to because it kind of ties to this whole rewards thing. They do have a post and a disc tracker put it up on their site where it's like we're planning something special.
Oh, yeah.
Want in on the fun, join fan rewards. They're trying to really push for people to get on the fan rewards. So it's like, exactly what that's going to be is going to be interesting to see. But I don't know. I know like some of these limited ones have been odd. I don't think they've been exciting. This one, obviously, you thought for sure because it's more up your alley. But yeah, the way they're kind of doing it,
Excuse me.
and if it's going to be like this going forward, it's going to be a mess. Definitely a hot mess. But yeah, them as a company, they're kind of in a weird state, and we did want to mention something else that they were in the news for, essentially. And it's the company itself and what it's doing, how it's doing, and it's clearly not doing really well. Stock, everything's going down, losing lots of money. There was actually a report that came out their second quarter. They lost, I think it was like $41 or so million, which sounds pretty wild. Like when you think, and
Yeah.
obviously a lot of these big companies do go through these losses and they make it back because they make a lot of money sometimes. So even if it's in the millions, to us, that's like, holy crap. Sometimes it's not the craziest dent to them, but with this company kind of being where they're at, we already knew for the last year or so, they haven't been doing well on that front. And then obviously CEO gets let go.
Yep.
There's a change. We have an interim guy now kind of just trying to clean things up. And right in the beginning of him doing all this, we get these reports that clearly they're losing tons of
Tons of
money
money.
and it's just not good. So the reason why I wanted to bring it up is because obviously we talk about this type of stuff with all the companies in general, especially with Funko. But because we were just talking about something that, just happened with them, and we're going to talk about some other stuff and some things they're going to be releasing, but it just gets you thinking of like, where really is this company going to go? Because it just has not been going upwards. Like they have been going down for quite a while now, whether it's been slow or a big plummet. There's not much peaks going on in this company in the last few years. And this just kind of points like obviously the money's not also because that's what we used to think. We're like, they're not doing great things. We're not happy with whatever, but they're still
They're
making
making
money. So
money.
like,
Yeah.
they're gonna do whatever they want. But then you see something like this and it's like, well, they're not really making money, maybe. And yeah, there's some reasoning behind it. You can talk about it, kind of like what their interim came out and said to, which I believe some of it. Obviously, there's been a lot of craziness going on with like companies and getting things overseas, etc. But it just seems a little too like I
Yeah.
don't know, coincidence.
It's kind of convenient. I mean, he basically blamed the, bad market that we have right now, blaming tariffs, people not spending, Also contributed to a lawsuit that Funko has been a part of. Just all things. The point why this happened, I get that's his job.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think he's lying about any of those.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah, but the one thing that me and Mick talk about this all the time, and it's kind of why it's hurt our super love for Funko is it's just way too mass produced now. There's just way too many things. That's why they are in the predicament that they're in. Like, they need to stop making, and I've said this before, like Star Wars, just talking about the Starkiller, that is my number one fandom, my number one thing I've always will collect. I stopped buying the Funko Pops. I used to get them all. I don't need a million of them. They even ruined a character like Ezra Bridger. There used to be one Funko Pop from Rebels, which is super cool, it was in the original set. Then they made another. I'm like, okay, if he became more popular because he was in Ahsoka, there's a lot of new Star Wars fans who like, Rebels. So give people a chance. Okay, I'm fine with that. Then they came out with another. Like, that's just like an example that I want to point out, which they just did that wrong. I was okay with 2, the original, and then like the repeat, which once again, many moons ago, we would talk about that when that was Funko's strategy.
Yeah.
You gave people the opportunity to own the quote unquote grail or the OGs, and they give them another one that can maybe mass produce a little. But I don't need then another version that looks the same, but he has a loath cat, another one where he has a scar, the other one where he's like pointing his hand out. It's just like, enough is enough. That's, in my opinion, and I do think you agree, like that's why we're at where we're at with Funko.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a huge reason why it got too overwhelming. It got too like you said, mass produced, and some people maybe like that because it's easier for them to go and grab something. And like we've kind of argued that end of it as well,
We
but
have.
there needs to be a happy medium, and it just kind of seems like they went from 0 to
They brought
100,
it to
and
a whole new level.
it was just not what it used to be. So the passionate people like us, like we can't just have 5, 6, 7,000 pops, and just be okay with that. Like, it's just not gonna make sense. So that's kind of like where it was going, and it just slowed a lot of, we're not the only ones, slowed a lot of collectors down, and they just haven't been doing a lot of the right moves. They haven't been doing things that are exciting anymore, and if they do, it's here few and far between, and it's not worth it. So this was another situation where we see something kind of cool, and it's like it's still not executed right, and then we get into more of a mess. But yeah, they're clearly losing money, and it's just going to be a wild rest of the year, I would assume, going into the holidays, see what's happening, because even on years that they've done well, they usually do have a lot of overstock of stuff, and they get rid of things and they dump stuff. And it's like, it's going to be quite a year to kind of see what's going to happen for them to end this year. And then obviously, hopefully we start getting news on like, okay, who's really going to start taking over, and is that going to lead to more of a change, specifically based off of who that person is going to be, which we had a whole episode talking about, like who we think the type of person should be who takes over this company, who can get it back to where it was. But who knows if that's even going to get there. But yeah, so Funko in the news again for some not good
Not
stuff.
so good
Like,
stuff.
they're definitely not. They're not holding up their end of the bargain. I'm sure it's the shareholders either. So like, it's not good as a company. But let us know your thoughts. Obviously, if you guys still really have love for Funko and what you guys think, and if things are going well or not on your end. What do you think about it? But comment down below if you haven't already on this one. But we'll get into some stuff that, like I said, they still are coming out with some things that we do like. We're excited in the sense of like, it's something new or something that we do like, and they'll do that because there's so much that they have out there. Chances are, you throw a dart, you're gonna hit the bullseye once, and so it's just kind of like what's happening right now. But
great analogy.
Yeah, I wanted to start off with this because we've talked about this countless times on this channel, and it has been a little while that we've kind of have not seen a new one that has gotten a lot of excitement behind it. But they are still making, and this is kind of interesting that they still actually at this point do this, but they are still making Funko NFTs. Like, that still is a thing. I know for a while we thought, okay, maybe it wouldn't work out. And then we're like, oh, this is going to be the greatest thing they ever do. But then I feel like it kind of got back to where I'm like, they might just stop doing these because, like, who knows what's going on. But they clearly are. And this is probably something that's helping their margins and getting them some money
100%.
if they need. So I'm sure they'll keep pumping these out. But we have the latest Funko NFT drop, which is actually Disney villains. So interesting thing about this one, I know you probably are really excited and passionate about this one, but
I
it
am.
is a smaller set. So we're getting a small set through Disney. It's going to be 9,500 standard and 8,500 premium. The big thing is there's only going to be four redeemables. It's actually technically three actual redeemables and then
Yep.
the royalty. So quite interesting. We're not getting a Freddy, which I still think there's no Freddys in Disney, right? At all. We're getting a Franny, which is interesting, but it's still not a Freddy, right?
No.
Because I
Yeah.
think they haven't had anything. It's always only been
There's
characters until
never
now.
been a royalty. Yep, until now.
Yeah. So now we're getting a Franny as a royalty, which that's pretty cool. It's a good one, obviously. Fits into the villains. But a couple things about this. So one, very niche. They went super niche. I mean, Maleficent's obviously a pretty popular character, but I would say the other three, like if you're not really into Disney or you don't know too much about
I
Disney,
agree.
you may not even know who they are, or you may not realize who they are. But we're getting, if you want to run through, you can run through the characters that we're going to get. But I did want to point that out because that does kind of make it one of those sets that both you and I'm sure you agree, tend to gravitate towards more than the mass-produced huge ones with a bunch of packs and a bunch of like different redeemables, etc.
100%. I mean,
So
I think this set's awesome. So now I am happy with Funko for this small second. Because like you said, we're getting kind of neat. I mean, yeah, they're niche villains. We're getting Shang Yu from Mulan, which another thing on purpose, we've never gotten a Funko Pops of any of these, which is another thing I really like. And before I continue telling everyone the rest of the characters, another thing that Funko needs to stop doing if they want to continue making their fans happy, these should be the only time we get these characters. I think you agree with that. Like, I don't want now to get like maybe another one of these where it's a different pose. So
yeah,
then we're getting the Big Bad Wolf, which is so awesome. We're getting Nessus from an obscure more villain from
yeah,
Hercules. Obviously, it's not Hades. So that's another awesome thing. And then, like Nick said, we're getting Franny Funko as Maleficent. I mean, small set, super cool, brand new molds. The boxes look sick.
Yeah, boxes are really cool.
Like everything about this looks awesome. There's 9,500 standard, 8,500 premium. I would like to think hopefully this will sell out. One thing I do know, some of the hardcore NFT collectors don't like the Disney drops because they're drop exclusive. At this point, I feel like people should just get over that. But I think this one, I'm gonna go after these, and I haven't been like going nuts over the NFTs in a while.
Yeah, there's obviously still some excitement out there. People are kind of like, wow, this is cool. This in the niche end of things, or like, oh, finally we're getting this Big Bad Wolf. Finally we're getting Shen Yu. Like things like you said, like that don't exist already in Funko. It is exciting. This is what we said this should be. Like they should be dropping stuff that's like hasn't been dropped before, and then just leave it at that. Like that's the perfect way to do it. That'll get people really into this and get them thinking like, oh, this is the only way I'm going to be able to get it unless I buy it on the resale market, etc. I did see some stuff in the comments, and I keep forgetting that this is actually a thing. But overseas, people can't get these, like the Funko NFTs, which kind of sucks because it does kind of limit, your reach out there. And there are fans of these characters and these type of drops that have been coming out, and they're not unable to get it. So like it kind of does suck for them, because they don't have the opportunity to do it. So that's one thing. But I think they have had sets like this that we've gotten really excited about, and this is just kind of another one. It is a little bit like I meant niche more in the sense of like, yeah, like you don't see these
Yeah,
people that much, right? Like
they don't get product.
yeah, like you don't really get much. Shan Yu's like obviously like the big villain of the movie, but you don't really see much about him. And then like taking Ness is like this, not like the main one, which obviously we have tons of Hades stuff, we have tons of Hercules stuff. We don't have that character, like, and that's a cool mold. Like he's obviously like one of those called like Centaur or whatever they're called, like with a part like horse and whatever.
All these
So
are
like
cool.
Yeah, so that's, like, awesome. Like, obviously, we had Maleficent. We've had plenty of Maleficents. We've had different versions of Maleficent, but, like, putting Franny in that is perfect because we've already kinda said if Franny came out as Leia and Franny came out as, obviously, the Wonder Woman one came out, like, those, like, big female characters, even though we've had them and they've made tons of them, if they put Franny in it, it still would be cool
Cool.
because we don't have any of those. So this is, like, kind of a situation where I'm okay with her being Maleficent. We're still getting Maleficent, even though we have it. Yeah, overall, definitely good. Not a huge one, so it's good. Packs will be less. And like I agree, the boxes are amazing. The artwork on this is great. And I'm glad that they didn't really overdo it. It's just kind of like are they gonna have a wave two later
Yep.
and maybe drop some more? Maybe if they do it in small batches like this, I'm okay with that. Especially if they stick to a lot of these types of characters and don't just go with the big ones that
Yeah.
exist out there already, like kind of overdone. But
One thing I
yeah.
will say too, we completely forgot. We did get our first Freddy Disney. We got Freddy as Sid from Toy Story.
Oh yeah. Yep.
But two sick ones that they've done. I would say actually two of the best drops that we've had in a long time. That one and now this. So
Yeah.
it's cool that they can now do that. So I'm assuming going forward, that's what we will get for Disney.
Which would be
We
cool.
yeah.
Yeah. Definitely exciting in a sense of like if you like these and you still have been collecting them, this is a good one to kind of add to
Yeah.
the rest of the collection, on the NFT side of things. This will be dropping the 19th, which is not this week, it'll be following week. So, I mean, it seems like they've been pretty light and slow on drops. Remember back in the day, it was like two a
Yeah.
month, three a month
I think
sometimes.
they're not doing as well.
Yeah, has to be. So they're definitely a little tailored, pull back a lot on some of
And they
these, but
haven't been
they are getting
shipping.
this.
They went from being so good, they're so behind on sets, it's out of control.
Yeah, it's happening again. That happened that one time, and then they kind of cleaned it,
Yep.
fixed it up, and now we're back on that same wagon again. But there was a few lines we did want to kind of talk about. So, like I said, we used to do this all the time, and kind of moved away from it, especially because there hasn't been too much stuff that has been super appealing
Excuse
to
me.
us. But a few lines that I did want to bring up. One of them is obviously we're getting some more Wicked pops. So obviously, in time for the new movie, of course, the second one that will be coming out. We did have a few pops from the first set, so obviously, it made sense that they would go into this one. But what's cool is we're going to get the general Alphaba and Glenda ones. I mean, maybe a little bit of a spoiler here with them
Yeah.
showing like of course, the Dorothy and Wizard of Oz style characters who we do know. Obviously, if you know the storyline or if you've ever seen Wicked, the musical, this kind of happens. But we're going to get those characters that are usually from the classic like Wizard of Oz movie in this one, and we've only seen like a quick teaser of them in the latest like
Yeah.
trailers and stuff that have come
And they
out.
don't show their faces. Not
And
the
they
Funko
don't. The only
Pops.
one you kind of see the most of is probably the lion. So now we're gonna get the lion, which the lion looks pretty cool. It's interesting, but like Scarecrow, I don't even remember seeing him in the trailer much. And like now you're gonna see exactly what he's gonna look like. Tin Man, obviously, is gonna be a Tin Man, but uh, it's interesting that they did that, but either way, it's still gonna kind of raise some hype up for this movie, I'm sure, and people that are excited. There's gonna be multiple versions of Alphaba. They're coming out with different glitters and stuff like that. But I think it's a cool set. And like I'm glad they did the lion, obviously flocked. Like these are like the smart things. Realistically, the Tin Man should be metallic. They didn't
Metallic.
do
Yeah.
that. But like sometimes they make sense and then sometimes they just don't. It's just weird when it comes to those like specialty stuff. But I don't know what you think about the set. Obviously, I'm excited for the movie, so it's cool to see
Yeah,
these.
I mean, I think the set's awesome actually. And back in the day I would have bought all of these. I just don't buy
Yeah.
like I used to. Um and I love, like you said, the lions flocked, and hopefully that's the only one we get. And like
Yeah.
there doesn't need to be any other versions. Um I think these are all great. I think we'll probably get another wave once the movie kind of comes out. This is
Hmm.
like the pre launch of the pops for the new movie, but I think this is a home run for Funko. And I think this also hits a market that I feel like they've always wanted to get into, like a new like branch of a fandom that they don't normally get. I think these will be big for them. So I do like this line. Um,
Yeah.
Another line that they came out with, which oh my god, sorry, excuse me, I'm getting over a little bit of cough, but the new Tron line, which I love Tron, but they already make these. Like we already have Kevin Flynn pops. They're cool, and I once again I want them, but I'm not gonna get them. The Tron on the light cycle, once again, super sick, but those pieces I just don't get those anymore. And we're getting a Yuri pop, which I don't believe they make. But I just bring these up once again because I think these are awesome. As Tron is actually, I love Tron. I think it's criminally underrated, and I think Tron Legacy came out at a bad time before like big blockbusters like that were huge again. Then we went into the superhero craze. It's a very underrated movie. If you haven't watched it, I recommend it. And the score is absolutely sick. But yeah, I don't think we need repeated characters. So that's why I'm iffy on this one because it's not even like the original Tron pops. They're not old pops. They didn't come out that long ago. Like anyone who wanted them could get them
Yeah. But these are like the OG
from the
Tron,
OG
right?
movie. Yep.
Yeah, which is also what's kind of weird and interesting because the new one's coming out,
Yeah.
and it's like, why not just make ones for the movie that's going to be coming out and the new, sequel and everything? And it's like,
It's just weird.
why go back to these like OG ones? A little strange, but like, yeah, I
It's
mean,
Funko.
do they have one on the light cycle at all as a pop?
They don't.
Okay, because that's
So
cool. Like as
it
a
is.
ride,
It
like
is
makes
cool.
sense,
It's very cool, but
but
it's
it is a
just
little out there, kind of
I
random.
just look at it as like when Funko was in their absolute hype, these would have been fire. Now, when we're asking them to get back on track and trim, like I'm
Yeah,
not
yeah,
trying to be hypocritical because like I do like these, and if I had more space and I was collecting the way I used to, I would get them.
yeah,
But yeah, that's my issue with them.
yeah. Very interesting. Another one that's kind of interesting actually is we're getting more Marvel zombie pops.
Yeah,
So I do know actually in storage I have like almost every single Marvel zombie pop from the
which is
first like
amazing.
couple waves and stuff. Because I thought it looked really cool. Obviously, kind of fit into like the horror genre that I like, and clearly Marvel as well. But we started getting some of these characters in the What If show, and now we're gonna get like a Marvel zombie show like on Disney
Yep, on
Plus. So
Disney
like
Plus.
kind of seems like the timing's there where like maybe these fit into that. But who knows? Like, because if it is, they're kind of spoiling as well, like because we don't know anything about that show yet.
Yep.
But we got like a zombie Captain America, like kind of like just his upper body, kind of like coming out of the ground and stuff. There's a Hawkeye one, and then we got a Blade Knight. So that kind of goes to show you like that's maybe a character that they're gonna go with, where we haven't really seen. I think I even saw like there's another Wolverine zombie one that's gonna be coming out as well. So just a little interesting. I actually kind of forgot about that the show was going to be coming out when I first saw these. I kind of was just like, why are they coming out with these
Why are
so
they doing
random?
this?
But even if it fits the show, I guess it's still a little random because again, we don't know much about that show. Just that it's gonna come out eventually. Um, but yeah, just kind of weird because a lot of these sit around. They don't really sell super well, so it'll be I would love to see kind of what happens with these if they do sell or not.
Um, yeah, I mean, I completely agree with you. Like, I feel like, yeah, we didn't really need them, even though they look cool. They just, like you said, they kind of sat around at one point. Another thing, though, talk about Biddy,
Mm-hmm.
which now I'm starting to think Biddy definitely ain't doing as well for them as I thought they were. So, Migs, you're probably definitely right about that. But they're still doubling down on it. I'm curious if it'll slow down, but they're now making kind of hanger packaging packs, I think, to probably do appeal maybe more to people like yourself, or just more hardcore collectors who thought they were probably silly. And they're doing them in 2 packs, like a couple or an iconic pair. So you're getting like 11 in the Demogorgon from Stranger Things. You're getting Miles and Gwen from, Spider-Man.
Hmm.
We're getting Han and Leia from Star Wars, like stuff like that. I mean, I think they look pretty cool, but it's just interesting. But then we're getting tons of accessories too. Some of these had leaked before, but one that I do think is kind of cool because, as everyone who's been a fan knows, I love Christmas. They're making ornaments that you can put the Bitty Pops in. I mean, I think that's kind of cool because they're interchangeable. They're coming out with like a pretty big like case that you can put them all in, like a collector's case, and then you can also put in some of the vehicles for the town. Then they're also coming out with these kind of, I mean, to me they look kind of like, I would call them starter packs. I don't know if they have an official name for like the whole city thing, like for, let me look, like for Harry Potter, you're getting the Hogwarts Express, you're getting a few Harry Potter's characters, you're getting Ollivanders, like you're getting like a ride, a town. I think
Yeah,
to
all
put
in
them
one
all,
box.
like
Yeah.
they're cool. I kind of wish this is what they started Biddy with in the very beginning. But the only thing is, and I'm pretty sure I know this, even though I don't have them. And if you do, let me know in the comments whether I'm right or wrong. They're like towns. They should have made the cars actually work. Like none of them have real wheels. So if I thought this was going to be great for like my son, but it really is just for like old nerdy people who like to build models of stuff. They don't move. I think that's like another, they didn't test this correctly or didn't really think about who this should have been for. Like no kid is actually going to want that. They can't really do anything with it. They just stay. So, I mean, I'm curious what, I'm pretty sure you hate all of this, but what let us know what you think.
Well, no, I mean, to go off the last thing you just said, actually, interesting because they they really show you, like, I've never thought about this, but when it comes to like you said with the car thing, right? That they're not really like a toy, and they are really pushing the collector and the put it up and don't move
Yeah,
it type of thing, because every single Funko ride doesn't move.
yeah,
I have F1 car once, the wheels don't move, like all that kind of stuff, and like they clearly that's not what they want. They just want it to look like this, and it's just a display. Like you're not supposed to move it, play with it, etc. That's kind of like what it seems like. And then obviously the same thing with these biddies and the smaller versions, and they're just kind of just a put them here and there, like you said, just build something quickly. The ornaments thing is an interesting thing. Like, yeah, it's cool for the Christmas thing. They obviously go pretty OD with Christmas when it comes to like other like different things that they do in the Funko world. So obviously, Biddies was going to kind of jump into that. The 2 packs is a better way to kind of present this. Looks better. It's also packaged perfectly that if you don't want to open it and you're really like a hardcore,
yeah.
like, no, let me keep that blister pack the way it is, like you can do that. You couldn't really do that with the other packs. It just didn't look well, didn't
Agreed.
display well. You couldn't put it anywhere besides maybe on a shelf. This you can hook, you can hang it up a lot easier. And then the big sets, like I'm okay with that in the sense of like this is what they should have done. It's just funny because like all these things exist. So it's like maybe you already got that ride, or maybe you got one of these, and
Exactly.
it's like, why do you want to get that just to get all of them? So like they should have done that from the beginning. Clearly, they're just kind of working backwards. It's just very, very, very strange when it comes to Biddy. And then that case is actually like pretty cool. Like I
Yeah,
don't mind that. Where you can kind of display a lot more. You can carry them, bring them somewhere. If you want to bring them to do trades or whatever, like that
which
kind of
that gears towards kids
fits.
too as well. It's weird. They don't know,
Yeah, it
like
does. It does. So it
it's
fits kind of like that world and that realm, which I don't hate. So it's just like, Biddy's been around long enough that it's kind of is what it is. And now they're kind of throwing a bunch of SKUs and things at us. It's almost like too late, I guess you could say.
agreed. Yep.
Um, but yeah, I really am just not going to be a fan of this. I still am not at all. And even by saying that, like there is a wave and there's a line that's coming out, which is going to be really cool. And I know we both are fans of, and it is One Piece. So they are going to have One Piece biddies. So they did show some first looks. They have some pre-orders out there. But a couple cool things about this, like one, obviously we're fans of this. Characters are all great, they're cool. Speaking of, obviously the trailer just came out for the
Yeah, it's
second
awesome.
season, which looks awesome. So second and third season is gonna be coming out, actually, all of those. But what's good about this, or interesting, is that we're getting a lot of like characters and molds that don't exist like at all in Funko, which is kind of a little
Yeah.
strange. That Biddy is where you want to unveil them
Uh,
and reveal these. Like, just come on with the damn pops. Like, they sell and these are popular and exciting, but they clearly have made a mold or a design, so they know that they can make it in a bigger version, I'm sure, because they have it in these small ones. So that was kind of an interesting thing to see. But yeah, just another set of, and it's the old school way where it's the four and you can get a chase and whatever. But um, I'm just not a fan of these at all, honestly. And yeah, I don't know what you think. Like, is this kind of like, have you been purchasing any of these since the
no,
beginning, or you just kind
I
of
have
no,
not
like
bought
lately,
these.
right?
I have not bought these in forever. Weirdly enough, I just bought a few for my son for his birthday because he still thinks they're cool. But once again, like they just end up all over the place. His
Yeah,
little my younger son then get like it's. I wanted to love these, and I don't hate them. Like it's funny. I actually may get that collector's case, and me and my son can put all of ours in it. And it is a nice way to keep it organized. But once again, like not to repeat myself, and I'm happy you agreed. Like all this stuff, they should have launched with this. The whole product line would have seemed cooler and more thought out.
yeah.
It reminds me of which some people will laugh at me for this, but how they did the Star Wars sequel trilogy. They just did it as they went. Like they should have had more of a plan with these biddies, because I do think they would have been much cooler if it all launched like this. But like the One Piece ones, I think they're cool. Once again, I probably won't get them. And I also agree with you. It's kind of a weird way, like, to introduce some characters that don't have pop form yet, to tell people, like, part of me is like, oh, is this a cool Easter egg by Funko? No, it's just, this is what first came out. And like, it's weird. Like, and I don't know if it's really getting people excited or not. Like, let us know in the comments if you think that's cool, or it's kind of lame, or it's, whatever, you don't even think about it. It's interesting to me. And I really think, not to change the biddy topic, but Funko needs to find a new product SKU. I know this might sound crazy, that goes into the true blind box mystery craze that's going on right now. I don't want them. They'll probably do it once it's not popular anymore. But like, I know they've had mystery stuff before, but like the biddies don't count. Those minis that they make don't count. Like you
Those
need a
mini,
premium product that like
dude,
soda. But
soda, dude. Imagine if they made
yep,
something like a soda. They put it in a can. You didn't know what it was, and then if you had a chance to pull a chase, like that
wild.
would be awesome. They should do that.
Excuse me. I, dude, it's kind of comical to me now. Once again, Funko is actually ahead of it, and Brian's killing it right now with Thrilljoy. I mean, let's be real. That's why Thrilljoy is being talked about now. I even like that community, even though it's still small. I look at some of the money that some of these people are spending,
Oh
because,
yeah,
and I do know, like, there's a lot of like, especially in the origins of where a lot of this is super popular in China, like they consider this like a gambling addiction. I'm starting. I mean, I'm definitely obviously seeing that now in the States and even in this collectible world. But Funko needs to, take advantage of that. They really do, and now's the time to do
yeah.
it.
They had that with soda. Like that
Yeah.
was literally what it was.
Quite
Like,
frankly, I would even Funko, if I were you, I would even rip off Thrilljoy at this point if you needed to. Like your product's already made, put a thing around it and see what you get. Like they need like I hope you don't mind that I'm bringing this up, because I'm curious of your opinion. Like, I think this could really help and not save Funko. They need something like that, and they need it now.
yeah. No, I mean, I agree, because in the so I don't even know if it would save them right now because of where they're at. But yeah, like
Yep,
that's something that definitely they should have already been on, and they kind of already were. And that's what's the most
which is
frustrating
crazy.
thing, is that Like, they had this. They had it before other people. Like, yeah, blind boxes, the mini souls of the
No,
world,
but
like,
you're
those
right.
places
Yeah.
existed, whatever. But they had this already. They already did their great pops. You had a chance of chases here and there. Okay, that was cool, which I feel like now that's kind of gone. Like, you don't really have the excitement of even a chase pop anymore. Like, those
Yep.
are so few and far between that it's, like, non-existent. But then soda was their way of like always running into that because clearly there was one or two here and there that didn't have chase, but pretty much most of the time they did. And it got people excited. It got people buying more than one. Like that was a thing. People were buying cases or people were buying two, three at a time because they wanted to pull it. It was exciting. You ripped it open. You had no idea what was inside. You had to rip a bag and then you saw it. Or if you want to look at the pog, you look at the pog and you figured out what it was. Like that's
Yeah.
literally what is dominating collecting toys, kids, and everything in the last year. Like hands down. Like, is this? Look at the Labubu craze. Look at
It's gone to people
all
who
of
would
these
never
other
like
things.
collectibles in their entire life,
Dude, people that are
watering
50
over
and
them.
people that are 5. Like, it's literally got every single one of them in this. And no one is doing that now with Funko. Like they're nowhere near that. And it was
It's
as soon
wild.
as they got rid of soda is when everyone else decided to just blow up even more. And it was just kind of like, you're an idiot for this move. Like, what were you doing? And not that they need to bring soda back. Like maybe they do something different and new, but like they had it. Like it's just crazy. And we not to keep going ranting, but like we spoke about, maybe it was aluminum, maybe they just didn't do it right and it
Yeah.
could have switched up. Maybe they could have went to plastic. They could have done something, but they easily could have switched. And it's it's like so obvious that the brain trust of people that were up there were idiots because the Mike and the Brian of the world that did that while they were there are still doing it. They're just
Yeah.
doing it completely outside of Funko, and no one in Funko is like, we need to do this. Like, it's a wow. We had no like idea that we were going to go down this route with this episode, honestly, but it just gets you thinking like, what the hell are they doing? Who is running this thing? And like, how are they not? And like you said, they have the minis and there's like little things that they have, but those were so trash and it just did not make sense.
And they're not a
The
premium
biddy aspect does
product.
not make sense either because I know they have the small little bag. Like, no, that is not what you need. You need like a legit figure, which is like a pop essentially, or a soda, which they already had, which was a legit figure that you can collect and have that be their mystery or do whatever it is or some kind of blind bag, whatever. There's so many, they can come up with so many names, they could do so many different things, and it's just wild that they haven't done it yet. Like they're so far behind that even if I feel like they start to do it,
Yep.
it might be way too late. I don't know. Crazy because I don't know if you had something you wanted
No,
to bring up, but I'm
I
gonna bring
wanted to
something
bring
else
that
up
up
real
because I
quick.
knew we could roll into something
Okay.
new.
Because I do want to talk about something else. I don't know if this is the same thing you were thinking about, but it's just it's just Funko going backwards, and I do want to bring it up because it's like, why are they still making this? So this is random, but they're still making diecast, and that's an interesting thing that I want to bring up because I love the diecast. We both
Yep.
actually really loved them when
Loved
they
it.
first came out. It was amazing. Kind of started to hate it when they did the whole chase, where it was like silver and everything. Like that wasn't too cool, but it is what it is. But that kind of disappeared. And we made sense. It was expensive and expensive
No one wanted
to,
it.
to make, I'm sure. No one was buying them. They were putting them on crazy sales. They're probably losing a lot of money. But they're making another one. So this is kind of weird because this makes you think like they're clearly still out there and still making them. They're going into like the anime world, which is
Which
interesting. We're
is
getting a Demon Slayer. We're getting a Tanjiro Kamado. It's obviously like one of the main characters. And there's going to be a diecast of this. And it's just like, I just don't know like what they're thinking in a sense of like if they thought like this was something they had and they're just like, oh, we're finally gonna release it. Or if they were like, what we need to make? We need to make a die cast. We haven't done one of those in a while. Let's throw this item up there for $50 when
my
our
God.
fans aren't even buying our freaking $15, $18 pops. Let's see if they'll buy a $50 one. And it's like, it's just like such dumb decisions. And it's crazy because like this is good. Like I think it's cool. It looks great. But it's just like the way they do things is what's odd. And someone commented, just like a hilarious one. And they're like, again? And they're like, what's next? Soda? Like, like we're gonna get a freaking Team Star soda announced, Like it just seems like their work, I don't know. It's so messy, bro. I don't know. I can't keep going on this, but
Yeah.
what do you
I,
think?
I mean, I agree. Like, I don't really think I can add much. The only thing that's funny is I just went to Funko.com to see what they still have. And they have a banner on all the diecasts left that I've never seen before. It says web exclusive.
Yes, so web exclusive is a new thing. I glad you brought that up. Not just on what's it called, on diecast. I noticed it because I was looking at some sports pops, and there's a few that say that. I don't know what the hell that is. I don't know what that
Guess you can't get them
means.
in there in the Funko HQ and
Store, I guess. Yeah,
yeah,
but yeah, that's definitely something new. I did see that.
it's just interesting. But you can only get the Yoda, which is funny.
That's the only one
There's
left.
you can get Yoda, Jordan, and the Joker. And
Wow.
to even show you once again a place I never thought I'd be in with Funko. Yoda is my all-time favorite character. I don't have that
You didn't get it.
because I'm just like, I ain't spending $50 for that. It's insulting all the money you and I gave
Are
to
they still
them.
50?
They're still $50. They don't even mark
So
them
not even
down.
on a sale.
Not even on a sale. Though they will always be part of their crazy sales.
Yeah.
But I'm like, how am I gonna, in good conscience, buy this? Even though I love the character and I like, it's funny. I do want this for my collection, but a year, I'm probably around Christmas time. I'll go get it at Marshalls for $15.
Yeah, because that's where you were finding them. Yeah, makes
Yeah.
sense.
It's just like, it's wild. Wild, wild, wild.
Yeah, it's the wild, wild west out there. It's chaos, craziness. Funko's just, I don't know. They're doing things that are make you scratch your head, and then they don't do things that make you scratch your head. So it's just like, it's
God.
insane. But yeah, they have a lot of interesting stuff out there. Another thing was I did want to mention real quick was the Mickey and Friends. They have a pretty funny set, K-pop,
Yeah.
which has the Mickey characters as like if they were in a band, basically. Kind of cool, funny, cute.
Yeah, I
Kind of
agree.
obviously that's a big hype right now. K-pop Demon Hunters is massive right now, and supposedly they're gonna make those as pops. Like they need to. Like that's a huge, huge avenue that they should run after.
But they're gonna pull
Um,
Squid Game. They're gonna come out when no one wants them.
well, that's the problem. Is like if they can figure it out and get these announced right away, like great. But if it's way too long, it's gonna be like an awkward
Yeah.
part when it's like, why didn't you come out with these before? But yeah, I don't know. So that's strange. But I don't know anything else on the Funko side that you had
No, I mean, well, actually,
besides the
one more.
bin.
Yeah, the bid. It's like, do we even want to talk about it? It's just a nail in the coffin. It's looking like Target has sent over a bunch of their exclusives that no one wants over to Goodwill.
Yeah.
I
Which
mean,
answers our question of how is Goodwill getting all these
it's just like
pops?
if I worked for Funko and I saw this picture, it'd be just so demoralizing. Like I really want to know what Mike and Brian think of all of this stuff. Like, boy, would I love to pick their brain. They'd probably never really say anything bad. Maybe you can get them on, the down low, but it's just,
Yeah,
it's so sad.
it is becoming like that thing. Yeah, and it's funny because like this is a little random, but it kind of puts it into perspective of like what's going on with Funko and where you find these things are just out there randomly. A friend of mine's actually as well, Jimmy. He went to I forgot where it was, somewhere down by maybe by the boardwalk or something. They were at like a arcade style place,
Yeah,
whatever,
okay.
and playing games and things like that, whatever. And he posted a picture, and it was his son was I don't even remember what he was doing, but he was in the back of like the trunk of his car, and in the top corner, I see a Funko Pop box, and I commented to him, and I was like, "Oh, I see a Funko Pop," and it was a Spider-Man, and he's like, "Oh yeah, he won it on some game or whatever." So it's like that's what they're becoming now. They're just like throwaways and giveaways and things like that you could just find at random places now, and
I know.
it's just really, especially like Spider-Man, for instance, right? Like these mass, crazy produced ones that clearly are not selling. And like they're so like you look at this bin, and there's some in there, you're like, oh, that's kind of cool. Like, oh, that's interesting. Your boy Ezra's on there.
Yeah.
But like there's certain ones that you're like the 8-bit Captain, right? Like, why would they even make that? Clearly that's not gonna sell. Like you see stuff like that, and you're like, obviously this stuff wasn't gonna sell.
Well,
They're
and
gonna
it's
just
funny. Another pop
toss
I'm
it there.
seeing here now is an Omega Star Wars pop. When that first came out, that was a sick pop to get. Couldn't get it anymore. Then that was one of the ones that Funko, like 2 years later, was like, oh, let's make this same exact pop again and reprint it. So it went from being, I mean, it was by no means a grail, but it was a cool pop that came out when the show was popular. And this character has no other Funko Pops. And instead of just leaving it alone, they had to go do this. And now no one wants it anymore. Which once again, like, I know we say this all the time. We don't collect for value, but it's always fun when some of your pops do have value or they're scarce, yada, yada, yada. But like, dude, yeah, once again, like, you can't, I always wanted the best of both worlds, but you can't make a product line at a company a toy and a collectible. It's like another thing they did with Funko. Funko should have made another line that was their quote unquote toy line, and Pop was their collectible line. That's another thing I think at this point. I commend them for trying, but it clearly screwed them.
Yeah, it's messy, man. It's messy. It's not good. But we'll switch up gears.
Some Funko lovers are gonna hate us.
Yeah, don't hate us too much. We'll just spin facts, and it's
exactly.
Like we said, there's some stuff that we did like and we were excited for. Obviously, we were talking about most of those lines because they are stuff that we do like.
Yes,
it's just there's certain interesting things that we just cannot not comment on, and it's whatever. Quickly, just run over to Thrilloy. We did talk about, I think we talked about some of these things, but I did want to just bring it back up just in case, because we are officially seeing some of the actual like hero pieces, chases, super chases of a few of the new waves. One of them is SpongeBob. Great, because they have a SpongeBob, they have Patrick, and then they have a skeleton SpongeBob, like the super chase. TMNT, obviously, we know they've already kind of been doing this where they mix villains and things like that. They're doing it again with the Raphael one. We get a Baxter as a chase, and then like a kind of like shiny looking version of Raphael as like one of those super chases. So again, great job by them doing some of these sets. The last one I think was a Lord of the Rings one, which we did speak of, but I don't know if we talked about specifically this chase option and super chase, but it's kind of like more the villain side of stuff. So it's like Gollum, Dunharrow King is like the chase, and then the Twilight Ringwrath, which is going to be like a really cool looking
these
like
are
ultra
awesome
or super chase or whatever you want to call it, because they have so that makes this correct. So there's super chase and there's ultra chase, right? Is it like when it's 48 versus 24 or whatever? I'm assuming.
And there's also a 96 pieces
or 96,
that they've done. I don't know the terminology well enough yet, but I'm also not sure if they're considering like a super chase and an ultra chase. Like the number, there isn't a specific number. It could be whatever it is. If that makes sense. Because like once again,
if you guys know a little more, we do have a lot of listeners on Thrilloy, like very specific to those details. Definitely let us know. And then the last one's the Articon one, which I didn't talk about last time. Interesting because the hero one is the one I think looks a little better than the chase. So I kind of would be a little happier with that one with glasses. I think that's really cool. They both look awesome though. So that's definitely one I will want to get. And I believe it'll be at the Scare Fair like drop that they do at Hot Topic. But yeah, just kind of throwing those out there. I don't know if you have just kind of an overview. What you think of some of those?
I mean, I think they're awesome. They're doing everything that, like, it's just so funny. Every episode I can say the roller coaster of Thrilloy. They're at a spot right now that I think is amazing. Their pieces are cool. They're limited. They're not overwhelming. I love that they've tapped into. I mean, I the more I think about it, the way they changed the picks line, not just to be in boxes like this, but did the chase element of it, is brilliant. Like brilliant. Like, I can't believe how smart it was, because they could have just came out and had them be like the Funko 2.0 that I still say they are, but just sit on the shelves and you got these.
Yeah.
It's making them money. They're growing faster because of it. And all of their molds are sick. The details are incredible. And I think they look higher end than their price tag.
Yeah. No, yeah, the price tag is perfect. But I totally agree. Like the fact you can get something that's 24 pieces only, 48 pieces only, 96, like that's exciting alone. And at that price point, and the chases and these ultra chase, super chase type options have all been great. I think I would say maybe like 98% are amazing on the chase front, because there's a couple chases that are a little, not the best, but it's very few. Like they really, really usually hit it out of the park with the chases. And it's not only this reason, but it's mostly also because they switch up the mold to a completely different thing. And we've talked about that from the beginning. That's something that Funko never did, and it was a miss. And Brian has really taken that and really ran with it, and it looks
And one
amazing.
thing I would like to think, and if anyone from Thrilloy is listening, I would love for them to continue down a path that Funko doesn't do. It's like, this is the SpongeBob like mold that we have, and like we don't need another SpongeBob for a very, very long
Yeah,
time. Like, I think that's another thing that's going to make these super cool. You can collect a bunch of your fandoms, but like you don't need to have like SpongeBob is such a great example. There's so many SpongeBob's of like Funko
and
Pops.
Funko,
It's
yeah,
ridiculous.
it's
So
too excessive. They
I
don't
have
need to
nothing. These are
go
these are
anywhere near
just
that.
these are just awesome.
Yeah, completely agree. Great job. The SpongeBob one is also going to be a Hot Topic exclusive, so I like that exclusivity that they're doing with Hot Topic as well. That's a perfect partner for them when it comes to some of these. And then the last thing, we'll switch over to our other favorite new collectible
Yeah.
company, and that is Rokimoto. I did want to talk about this specifically because we mentioned it, but we didn't have as much details. And I feel like, they deserve us really talking about this and shouting out, how cool of a set this is for a couple of reasons. One, because I said it last time, this is going to kind of be their first one where it's no longer just like one character in a cup and you can get the chase. Like you're going to have one cup and there's 8 different versions that you're going to be able to get. But this Godzilla, cup that the ramen that they're going to do, Monsters Ramen Collectible, they're calling it, is going to be really cool because of all the different versions and the rarities and everything have just all come out and been announced. So I think it's cool. The cup looks great. Godzilla is obviously huge in the Japanese and Asian culture, so
These are awesome.
this is going to be pretty sweet. But we have obviously a regular Godzilla. That's the one that's going to be 1 in 4. So of course that'll be pretty common to pull that. It is him with the tongue sticking out, which is cool. Eating the ramen, so that's great. We have a Mecha Godzilla, which is also a 1 in 4. So cool that like such a different one is going to also be something that you most likely
Agreed.
will be able to pull much more often. And then we jump into like a 1 in 6 chance. 1 in 6 chance obviously is kind of more of the chase realm that we're used to. We have a little Godzilla, which is essentially just like a baby version. Doesn't have the ramen, but that one's really cool. And then we have Mothra, which is this one we start getting into some of these other characters outside of Godzilla himself. And that's also like a 1 in 6. That one's going to be eating the noodles. So they are mixing it up with like some having the noodles,
Which
some
is cool.
not. Exactly, which is really cool. And these are really cool ways. But you can run through the bottom. So the more rare is
Yeah.
I mean,
So then we're
obviously there's a
getting
few that are
Rodin,
pretty
and
rare.
he's 1 out of 12. So I mean, once again, it's only going up from being, more rare from
Mm-hmm.
here. And we're getting in the Jet Jaguar that's also 1 of 12. And now both of them are the Slurp Prize sitting down
Yeah.
with the noodles. And I know you kind of mentioned, but I love this set has a mixture of everything. So it still has that, Rokimoto look that we love.
Yep.
But then there's a few characters in there that don't have that, especially if there's some people who like aren't into that. You can get a mixture of both. Then the 1 out of 48. I mean, this one is one of the best ones, I think, this entire set, obviously it's a 1 out of 48 and it's Burning Godzilla.
Yeah.
And he's holding the ramen standing up and it has the like Rokimoto logo on it.
Yeah. And it looks like it's like a spicy ramen. If you look at the
Yeah.
color compared to all the other
Oh,
ones.
you're right. Yeah, I oh my god, I love these.
It's so cool.
And then we're getting, which we're seeing this a little bit now.
Yeah.
The Snoopy had this, like the Woodstock, for example, or some of the Snoopies. We're getting a translucent. This one's blue of Godzilla, and it's 1 out of 96.
Yeah. And it's holding the ramen in that one too.
Yeah, I think this line is amazing. It also says it's a limited drop, and I'm not 100% sure what that means. They haven't been. And this doesn't bother me at all. I don't think it does you either. They haven't been in your face about the piece counts, but I know we mentioned this in a previous episode. On their new website, you can actually go and see how many are made. But I wonder if this is kind of like they're making a smaller amount and then they're done.
Mm-hmm.
It says they're available later this fall.
Yeah. Yeah, it's cool. Later fall is gonna get exciting to see when these come out, and hopefully, because Only thing I will say, like, so I have not even seen this like second wave yet. So we're
Agreed.
still waiting for those to come out. So like hopefully we start getting more of those because my Miniso store is pretty big. And obviously when the first launch of the initial ones came out, they were all over it. And for the most part, they usually have a decent amount of just those. But I haven't, haven't gotten the Mapache, haven't been able to get the
Yeah.
Yuki, like any of those. So like definitely want those because I'm looking to at least get one of every character. That's definitely something I've been trying to do, me and my daughter. But yeah, these look awesome. And they actually say like each cup comes with a surprise. So essentially, like almost all of these literally have ramen, so they would be considered surprise. Otherwise, the little Godzilla and the Mecha Godzilla, but those are still, you know, different than like a regular version. So it's a like, I hope they do this more often. I don't want them to only do this. I like the mixture that they've started with, but
Agreed.
this is cool that they did switch to this option because this is going to make people want to buy more of these. It's going to be more exciting to grab multiple cups. Like now you're kind of just like, do I want one or the surprise? Maybe I'll get one or the other. I can maybe grab two, but you're not really going crazy of one figure
Agreed.
usually, especially because there's only two you can get. And then if you pull it, you're pretty much set. This, you have 8 different ones that you're going after, and it kind of like makes things way more exciting, like in the sense of like what we love about collecting, especially with these blind box stuff, like what we were just preaching and saying that Funko was not doing. Like this is what we love. This is where like the collecting is right now. This is what's exciting. Joy is also on this with like UC, and we follow many of people who collect so many of them because of that thrill, pulling a super chase. Like now you're getting this essentially has that as well. Like you have a 1 in 96 chance. That's pretty rare. So it's like really awesome. But yeah,
Yeah,
that for sure is great.
I completely agree because I would love for them to keep doing a mixture of both what they're doing with what the current, is, whether you get the common or the surprise. But I do love this. I do. And just speaking from a business perspective, I think these will move more for them, which is, obviously awesome because we want Rokimoto to be as successful as possible because people aren't really going to know what they're getting. They're going to be more on the chase. And like, who doesn't
And
want
they're a
the
major
real?
IP. Like,
Exactly.
they're really going to open it up to
You're going
people
to get
maybe that didn't
people
like the original characters and they want to go after this,
100%. I mean, even like Super 7, for example, one of their main activation at San Diego Comic-Con was their new Godzilla product. Just to like give you an example of like maybe you're not a Godzilla fan, but in the collectible world, like this has a really big niche. I mean, I used to work with a guy who only collected Godzilla figures, and he had like vintage ones and would get the most current ones. I'm going to send him this. I'm going to be like, dude, you got to get these for your collection. And
Yeah.
I think it's really going to open up an amazing door for Rokimoto.
Yeah. It's exciting. It's definitely a good place to end our episode as well, because
Agreed.
that's on a high, because it's something that we're really excited about. Rocky Motors just continues to kill it. They just dropped a fire t-shirt recently too. I know we both
Awesome.
went after it. We're excited, and it was only printed once and then that's it. They're not going to do it
Which is
again. I
also,
love that aspect of what they're doing.
yes.
Because I will say, I don't want to keep going back to this kind of stuff and comparing or whatever, but like I like that aspect of apparel more than like what Thrilloy did. But like, oh, this is an exclusive, limited shirt and account, whatever. Like they should just drop it like this. You print something, gets printed once, more of kind of like a quick thing, flash sale. If you get it, you get it. You don't, and that's it. V Friends does that a lot too. Quick
Yep.
flash sale, boom, this is coming out, and that's it. We're not making it again.
We're done.
Like I love that. So that's a cool way to do.
I'm happy you brought that up because I 100% agree. Everything Rokimoto is doing is right in our opinion. So
yeah,
and we can't wait to see what they
Great
have.
job, Mike.
Yeah,
Gabby, and just everybody.
Dave,
you guys are killing it.
Yeah,
they've shown us a lot of love as well, so we want to show you guys respect.
Which we do really appreciate.
Thank you guys to all of you and even their family. Like everyone, we're getting love from all of them, and we really, really appreciate that like a lot. You guys don't even know. So that'll be it for the episode. So again, that was episode 139. Thank you to everybody. If you made it this far, hopefully you did, and you are already a subscriber. If not, come on, subscribe. Get some more good stuff by us. Like this video, and like most important, like I said in the beginning, here and there, if there was certain things you wanted to comment on, throw those comments down below. We'll definitely respond to you guys. We'd love to try to get some conversation going back and forth on a lot of the topics and things that we said, because maybe you think completely differently than we do, and we'd love to hear that. Or if
Yes.
you're on our side, let us know you agree as well. Either way. But yeah,
And
try to let them know.
as always, you can find us at Collector Chatter on Instagram, at Collector_Migs, at Collector_Charlie. And if you're on the podcast platforms, we really appreciate your support over there. Make sure you're following us on any of those platforms and leave us a review there. We really do appreciate that. And if you're on Spotify, as always, I say every episode has a question that you can participate in. So that's your way of interacting with us on those platforms. But obviously, if you're there, listen there, but then come on over to YouTube and make sure, as Mick said, please subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. Hit that notification bell so you know when new videos come out. Please smash the like button on all of our videos. You can obviously always go back to old episodes too and enjoy those, because we do talk about a lot of topics, which I want to bring up because I don't always say this. Like, some of our old episodes don't feel like you can't go back to them. It's obviously has new stuff, but it also has just topics that we talk about. So, which that we really appreciate. And once again, just throw down those comments. You can comment multiple times if you want, and we will interact with you there. But with that being said, we really appreciate everyone. Until the next episode, collecting is the way. Later.
Peace out.